I'm so glad that all of you made it. Now, I must confess that Sue and I are about 2 espressos behind you this morning. We were finishing up yesterday's traffic hospital, which is amazing. Today, Matt is going to be trying some new stuff on this webinar. What I love about our private courses is that they're all ongoing mastermind groups where you have access to what we're doing forever, and things grow and expand, and we learn more through other students' problem areas where they expand and grow out of. I just love that model that we're doing. With all of our courses. That's what makes them so unique. And today, Matt, you had this complete other idea. Normally, week 3 in the training is themes, keywords, and competitors. What are you going to go over today with us? What's our format?
Yeah, hi there, guys. During this week, I've been having some really great chats with some of the students in our private 1-hour calls. And what we've been doing, like Russell said, is as we go through these courses, we keep refining it, and we keep refining the experience to address different bottlenecks we find people get stuck with as they go through this process of building their online business. So in today's course, we're speaking about our themes, our competitors, our markets, and then market analysis. But we've done 2 webinars already, or 2 or 3 webinars that are really good, where we really cover Kraken in detail. So we don't want to keep on redoing that. We want to actually bring you guys and do a whole new series today on how we think about what we learned in week 1, defining a product. In week 2, where Russell taught us about the pain and the vitamin and how we should think about positioning our product and is it a good product or not. And then this week, our themes. What are our keywords? How do we choose them? What does it mean when we look at the data? And then how do we bring our business objectives forward to this data so it actually makes sense for us? Okay, so that's what I want to cover today in today's call. So welcome. So should we just kick off, or how are we going to do this, Russ? What you got?
No, this is it. I just wanted to make sure, generally speaking, that I've said good morning to everybody and how much I appreciate them. I think we've done that. Really excited about this. So let's just move right into it. The one thing I wanted to remind everybody is I'm almost awake enough to be managing the help questions tab here. So I have the questions tab. If you guys have questions as they're moving along, as Matt's moving through this, just drop it in here, and I'll try to toss those questions to him and just kind of monitor the room. Let's make sure I'm getting nothing but crickets. Can I get a 1 from all of you guys if you have actually had coffee or tea or are awake and are with us? Or if you're, oh, there they are. I was really worried about you guys. I was like, are we all decaffeinated this morning or something? Yeah, we're not, so we're good. Oh, caffeinated too. Hi, Mitch. It's good to, man, Mitch, you were in the traffic hospital course last night, weren't you? There's Albert. Oh, Albert's in Miami. That's right. Chirp. Carrots. We've got Brian's with us, and Brett, I know. All right, it's good to see everybody. There's everybody. 9 hours ahead of us. Mark Elliott. Mark's like, get up. Mark Elliott's like, get up here with me. Like, hurry up.
Yeah, these mere mortals.
Yeah, it's like I don't really. Where? All right, you guys. Okay, yeah, Matt. Let's just jump right into it.
Okay, guys, great. So, can you give me a 1 if you all can see my screen and hear me clearly? Okay, awesome. So this week I've had some really good chats with you guys, and the guys I spoke to this week and the previous week, we spoke about what are your ideas, what is your products, how much profit you're making, what's your market. We spoke about those ideas, but then in an exercise I sort of pulled you guys away from SEO, and I told you, okay, let's look at it from a business perspective, and we started throwing some ideas around, and we spoke briefly about the market personalities and our market life cycles. So could you guys give me a 1 for all the guys who spoke to me, and then 2 for the guys who haven't had that chat with me yet, the private 1-hour consultation? So yeah, Albert, Mark Elliott, Roy, yeah, let's have that chat soon, guys, because it was really good. I enjoyed chatting with you guys, and some great ideas came out of this whole thing, so it was pretty awesome. So that's basically what we did in week 1, where we spoke about success through definition. The only way we can actually get success is when we know what we're trying to build. And this is one of the big things when we're developing our frameworks, our infrastructure, our empires of networks. If we aren't clearly defining what it is that we need to build, we sort of get in this path that goes on forever. We just keep on walking around the mountain instead of going from point A to Z. Okay, so the whole point of success redefinition is to help us think about our product in a logical way. In week 2, Russell's given us this brilliant framework where it allows us to think about the pains in the market. It helps us understand where we should be looking at the market personalities, and it also helps us to really think clearly about what it is that we're selling from a marketer's perspective. Okay, so this week we're going to be looking at our themes, our keywords, and our competitors. Okay, now when the guys I spoke to the guys on the call, what we briefly did was a simple exercise which I want to share with you guys, and you're the first guys to sort of get taken through this. So when we work on our projects, we've got a financial goal. Can you guys see this? Can you give me a 1 if you can actually see the font, or should I make it bigger? Let me just make this bigger. How's that for you guys? Is it better? 1 if it's cool and you can see it, or 2 if I'm going to go larger? Bigger for Dan, okay.
Well, I think that was a delay. That's pretty big, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted these things nice and visual, so it's nice and clear for you guys. So the first thing I asked you guys was, what is your financial goal? And I introduced the idea of, okay, for the next 90 days, what do you want to earn? Just give me a number. And we sort of came up with different kinds of numbers. Then what we've basically done is we've taken that and we broke it down to, what does it cost us per day? What's our targets per day? So our big goal is 50,000 per month. That means the 16,000 we're going to have to earn. Per day, it's $555 per day. Okay, we took that idea. Then what we did was we thought about our conversion parameters, where we speak about Google, we speak about your on-page conversion, and we speak about your back office conversion. All these elements and these variables that influence how much conversions you actually get. Okay. Then Russell taught us about macro trends. You spoke about the markets we're entering into, and we came to the idea of a primary keyword, okay, the primary vertical. So in this exercise today, we're going to talk about back pain. The market type is basically going to be back pain. So I'm just going to type it in over here for you guys. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to scratch around, throw a few ideas around about looking at the back pain market, and then going across to the market analysis and talking you through what we think about when we actually look at the keywords in Kraken and what we're doing when we're looking through products. And the purpose of this is just to really show you in real time just the top level ideas that go through, and this will make things come a lot better for you guys. Okay, so I want to get started on this. Are you guys happy to proceed? Do you have any questions before we actually start with regards to this, so we can get some kind of framework going? Okay, it's all quiet. Right, so guys, do you understand what I've said there? You guys all clear on the exercise? Okay, excellent. So for this exercise, our financial goal, back pain, what do we want to make a month? So let's just say we're going to go for $10,000. That's our goal that we want to achieve. Okay? If we divide it by 30 days, we've got to make $333 a day to achieve this financial goal. Okay? Our conversion parameters, so typically for Google, I'll hop across this little calculator I've just done. For Google, you can get anything from 17 to 25%. That's your typical conversion when you're in positions 1, 2, or 3. It's the average between 17 and 25, depending on how good your painkiller headline is, that Russ is going to tell us about later on. And it depends on how good your description is that is in the listing in Google. Okay, so that's the click-through rate we're talking about here. Are you guys clear on it when we speak about Google conversion parameters? Because I'm going to be referring to it quite often in the course. So give me 1 if you're clear on that, or 2 if you're not. Okay, brilliant. 2. Okay, Albert, when we go to Google, let's just move this across here. This is typing back pain. when we speak about Google conversion, we're talking about when we own the clicks, positions 1, 2, or 3, if we're above the fold, okay, what we're saying is the amount of percentage of clicks that we'll get through at this stage is between 17 and 25%. Where are you on the page? You're in positions either 1, 2, or 3. Okay. The reason why we use this number is it helps us take the search volume that we've got that we use in Network Empire, DWS, and that we help break down the numbers to see how many conversions we can actually get, because per X conversion times our profit equals how much the keyword's potentially worth to us. Okay. Mitch asked, are we including video positioning? Guys, at this level, we're not looking at the actual elements on the page. We're just talking about positions 1, 2, 3. Remember, we're still at the top level. We're just looking at these ideas from top level. Okay. As we go lower down the page, the percentages become dismal. Like it's like 1s and 2s and 7s. There's very, very little people click down here. So all we're going to focus on is the top 3 positions. Okay. And our headline and our description and the elements that come onto this over here is what either highs or lowers the actual click-through rate. So in the exercise, we're saying we're going to have a 25% conversion rate. 25% of the people that land on that search when they type into Google Backpain, 25% of all that traffic will actually click on our listing and land on our page with our offer. Okay. Now, what we're saying is, our on-page conversion, this is the page they've landed on from Google. So if we go to Google and we click through, so let me see if there's a product page here. spineandhealth.com. Okay, I'm just going to click on this guy here and see what this takes us to. I've clicked on his listing. I'm landing on his page and I see lower back pain and all the articles running down. Okay, so this is like a medical type of thing. So this when I see this from when I'm doing my market analysis, when I see this, I can see it's an information-based site. It's all about that. I'm trying to see what can we sell. Okay. Now, if this was my landing page for my silo structured site that I built, my transaction engine, then in the calculation, what's going to happen is I'm going to say at least 2% of these people are going to actually fill in my form or buy my product. Okay. And typically this helps bring us down to our conversions. Then what we can do is we can actually go and look at that number and we can actually start figuring out what those keywords are worth for us. Okay, so then what we do next is when we're in back pain, can you guys tell me what macro trend do you actually think back pain belongs in? If you remember Russell's call, he briefly spoke about that just in the last week's call. Just throw a few ideas into the chat window. So we've got health. Just going to type them in here. Any other ideas, guys? How about chiropractic? Okay, that's cool. Didn't think about that. Okay. Getting old. Albert's doctor.
That would be aging, and that's part of
aging. That's it.
That'd be part of wellness. This is a macro trend.
I'll put in wellness here.
Chiropractic would be part of wellness.
Acupuncture.
Those are all niches.
Okay, so they're all sitting within. Would you say all these sit within wellness, Russ?
Yeah, they all be in wellness.
Okay.
Health and wellness.
Let's just take those ones like that. Okay, acupuncture. So that's quite interesting there. Doctor, specialist. That's fine. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay, so let's just do this quickly. So we've got health and wellness is the micro trend. We've got chiropractors with acupunctures. The whole idea is about back pain. Our product is basically, we're thinking about selling these back patches that you can stick on your back, and it lowers up the muscles and the story goes on. What would you say the best phrase is that actually describes that? So this is where we start looking at the primary keyword we want to get ranked for. And in this process, when I'm going through these thoughts, now that I'm now in health and wellness, I'm looking at back pain, I want to sell a back pain patch. Back pain heat. Heat pad. Injury illness. Yeah, there's a lot of ideas here. So when we looked at the top level, we've seen all these macro trends with health and wellness. We've seen niches that have popped up like chiropractic, acupuncture, illness, injury, physiotherapy, relief from back pain relief. And these all open up traffic streams to us, okay? So what we're going to do in the market analysis stage is we want to start becoming aware of different ways people use language to express the same idea, which is back pain, okay? And then we're going to try and figure out, okay, cool, if we've got back pain and we're selling a back pain heat pad and we're making maybe $5 per sale, let's just say our profit is $5 for this. What traffic is going to best suit this type of profit for our business so that we can achieve our goal of $10,000 per month for this website? Okay, so that's where I start looking at all three things. Okay, so I've got the ideas, the language people use, we've got the commercials, what we want to achieve, what we want to get paid, okay, and we've got our profit, we want to get paid per unit, per sale, per conversion. Now what we do is when we look at market analysis, we want to understand how strong our competitors, what themes best suit the product, but also carry enough traffic potential to meet our financial objectives. This is what I think about at this stage before we start the market analysis, and I like to get all these different ideas sort of stacked and ordered. And what I do is I write these words down and then I group them in similar groups. So if we're talking about getting old, I put my age keywords or ideas underneath that. If you're talking about physiotherapy, I talk about a slipped disc and all the other keywords that come with it. And then we'll try and, like Ross said, find the product that meets the solution to that actual pain that we're talking about. And this helps us build up a nice little data set of different kinds of ideas and information which we can then start looking at and see, okay, what's going to get us to our 50,000, or this just changes to 10,000, yeah? What's going to get us to our $10,000 target per month, okay? How many sales do we need to make? What do we have to earn per day? We have to earn 111, okay? So our profit means essentially is that divided by the $5. Okay, let's just take this off here. That means we have to sell 22 units per month to meet our target. Sorry, per day. That's our goal. Okay, so can you guys see what I've done over here? Does this make sense to you guys? Can you give me a 1 if you're clear on what I've just done, or a big fat 2 if I've just confused you more? Hopefully not. Okay, so guys, can you see, like, these 15 minutes chatting to you, I've come up with an idea, I've thought about the top level ideas, I've put my commercials down, my financial goals, and I've broken it right down to, okay, in order to make my goal, I have to do 22 sales a day. Okay, so when we look at our keywords now, when we look at our market, we start drilling into all these keywords in Kraken, in the back of our minds, we're always thinking to ourselves, is there enough interest in this word to potentially give us 20 to 2 sales per day. And this is where DWS comes in, that we're going to work with next. It crunches all these numbers for you. So you just put in your data set from Kraken or TRKT, and bam, in seconds, it gives you all the numbers for every single keyword right there. But that whole data set in the keyword decision screen is based around these principles. And I wanted to just speak this through to you guys now, so that when we get to DWS, we look how we build out the sites, then you guys will understand what makes the keyword decision screen so powerful. Okay, so guys, can you give me a one if you understand how I got to the 22 sales per day, and now we're going to find sort of our product and see if our product's good enough, and we're going to look at some drilled keywords in backpack. Okay, brilliant. Sue or Russ, do you have anything to add at this stage?
Well, I would say I would like to ask a question for you guys, just to get a little bit of feedback. How many of you already do these types of projections or have done these types of projections for your client? This is called data sculpting or business decision. This is actually kind of business architecture, a business model architecture. So it looks like a few of you have done that. Okay, good. That's good, Brian. How many of you have actually done this and then met, I'm just trying to get a level of advancement. How many have done this and then actually met the goal that you calculated in the past online? A 1 if you have and a 2 if you have not. Let's give me an active answer. Excellent. There is one person who actually has. Most have not, and that's okay. That's why you're in this course. I wanted to make sure that we're not dealing with a bunch of advanced people, because then we step it up a notch or two. But that's really where I got to tell you. You know, one of the main reasons that nobody does this is because it isn't any fun. We talk about this. It's not fun until we make it fun, and that's part of at the live certification event. We actually have another one in, what is it, October or something?
October.
Yeah. This is the stuff that we show you how actually fun it can be, and because it's so important. There's nothing worse than wasting 2 years or a year or 6 months of your life building a product or building a website and an empire on numbers that don't even exist or haven't been sculpted. And really that's what Matt early on in the business decision screen area in DWS, and this was the whole projection that he was doing. And yeah, Brett, it can be fun. Let me read it. You're right. Brett says this is fun because you're defining success. Let me recalibrate what I was actually saying. Most people who are marketers and who are persuaders and who are actually entrepreneurs, this is in Eric Rice's book and in Lean Startup Models by Ash. One of the things is that entrepreneurs by default are problem solvers, and the joy they get, this is why in E-Myth marketing he calls it entrepreneurial seizures. It's because we have entrepreneurial seizures and we like the creation process and the website development process, but we hate the actual number calculations and so on and so forth. Well, that's changing. The definition of entrepreneur is problem solver. But at this point, we're moving into an arena where knowing what these numbers are is part of the success, is what Brett is saying, and I agree. So I guess what I'm saying is the traditional entrepreneur has avoided the numbers and the projections and saying, okay, marketing can cover everything. In other words, if I dream, all you have to do is believe. And what Matt is actually pointing out, and Eric Rice points it out in his book as well, is that that's nonsense. You can't. I loved what Eric Rice said in his book, The Lean Startup, which is like the media and the popular media and the movies, this recent movie on Jobs and Facebook, on Mark Zuckerberg, what they love to play up is the fact is like, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, ignore all the numbers. Nobody believed in me, and I was in my garage, which is an amazing book. Another amazing book, you guys, called The Myth of the Garage by the Heath brothers, two of my favorite authors. This is nonsense. In fact, they prove that in their book. People who don't have the basic projections and the basic numbers don't have the definition of success, like Brett was saying. So this is actually part of the fun, but that's not what you hear. It's not what we focus on in the popular media. You must do these numbers. You must know when to pivot. You must know when the product, that nobody's going to buy the product, and you must have a general projection of what Matt calls your IT debt, how much you're going to put into building this sucker. And it is
going to cost you.
Yeah, is it going to fail? And remember, people trying to help you do these numbers, or you projecting these and defining these successes. I know I'm kind of over lecturing here, but I'm very passionate about this because soon I've watched so many people fail because of this lack of projection. And the amazing thing is that when you get this down, these success stories, these kind of entrepreneurial, heroic stories can actually be yours. Okay, I'm getting down off my soapbox. I just wanted to add that 2 cents.
So the one thing that I would say is that you've got a, what's your conversion? Your on-page conversion is at 2%, right?
On-page conversion is 2%, yeah.
And you need to make 22 sales per day. So can you tell me how many sales, how many visitors we got to have on site in order to actually get that?
Yeah, we have to figure this out. So
yeah, that's the next projection, right?
Yeah, well, this is where the keyword data starts making more sense when we've got these numbers in our heads.
Right.
So what I wanted to finish up here saying to you guys was, now that we know we've got $5 profit made, we've got to do 22 sales per day, that should make us roughly $111, $112 per day. It's about $4.63 an hour. So we can watch this in real time, and it brings in roughly a target earning of $3,000 per month, and that'll give us our $10,000 in 90 days. What we've essentially done is we created this model for you to see, this is what you should be thinking about. Okay, in 90 days, what must this website make? And if we had to get a product that sells really well, and let's just say we got a 2.5% increase, okay, look how it impacts everything. Well, not much. Let's just take that back to 2. Let's just make it a 5%. Sorry, I haven't connected this, I beg your pardon. Yeah, so basically what I was saying was we got these basic numbers. So when we look at the search volume now, and we get drill into Kraken and we're actually looking at our themes, then we can start looking at the search volume, we can look at the pay-per-click volumes, and we can see, okay, will this actually make us money? So the way the formula would work is like this. Okay. Basically what you've got to do is you can take your Google, your search volume, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually multiply it by the Google conversion, and then we're going to multiply that again by our on-page conversion, our OPC. And if you are doing back office sales like affiliate sales, then there's another hop in the whole process. Then you have to multiply by that variable as well. So APC, okay. And what that gives us is the conversions, okay? So that's equals conversions. Now what's so great about the last keyword tool, guys, when you're using that tool, if you're using that, looking for the more of the long tails, you could actually just take these conversions and in the custom columns in TLKT, you can create a custom column and you can essentially just put those numbers into your custom column and it will calculate it all out for you. Then what you can do is you can actually do a filter and you can filter out all the keywords that are not going to meet your criteria because you know what your criteria is. Can you guys give me a 1 if you can hear me clearly, and 2 if you got what I said there, or if you have any questions about this before I move on any further? Okay, so you all got the basics here. Okay. Sue, should I open up TLKT or should we just, have you got any backplane drilled out in TLKT, Sue?
No, I don't have anything in TLKT. I have it all in Kraken.
Oh, we could do it in the spreadsheet, eh? Okay. Yeah, what I wanted to show the guys was just us applying this calculation in TLKT so they could actually see which keywords meet their daily target. So I'm trying to start exposing them to how to look at the data and what they will start looking for as you look at backplane to identify the themes.
I totally understand. I was actually headed someplace with a question that I asked earlier because
oh, beg your pardon.
I mean, if your conversion percent is 1%, so then 22 becomes 2,200, and so then when you're looking at 2,200, you can see that as we come to look at keywords, you can get a feel for whether you want to rank for 1 or 2 heavy headers, or if you want to rank for a bunch of long tails. depending on your market, depending on your conversion. The long tails, obviously, if you're trying to hit 10,000 sales in 90 days, then you're probably going to be looking more at long tails. And so you want to take a look at how many keywords, how many long tails it's going to take to stack up into that 10,000. So I'm just trying to like fill the gap before we get too far into numbers as to what it is we're actually trying to achieve.
If everybody,
yeah, that was up.
Sorry, Matt. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm everybody's on the same. There we go. So everybody gets what Sue was just saying there. She's trying to make sure that the meaning behind the numbers is clear about where we're heading. Give me a 1 if you understood that. 2 if you want her to just repeat what she said. Albert,
okay.
Okay, yeah. All right. So can you just reiterate everything you said in a summary, Sue?
Sure. So now that we have a feel for the number 22,000 people on our site that we need, is this over a 3-month period, Matt? I lost that, or is that like at the 3-month, for a month?
Yeah.
3-month period.
The target was basically 10,000 in 90 days, and we had to make 3,300
per month.
That was our,
okay.
That's our monthly sale, which meant was 1,100 is what you had to earn in dollars. This is the dollar row at the top here.
1,100 is what we earn per day on our 3rd month.
Yes.
This is a ramp up, right? And we're looking at the 3rd month. No, we're trying to earn $3,000 a month.
We've got to build the site, so it's going to take us roughly 90 days to build the site. But once we start getting our keywords ranked, then we know what's our target. We have to hit 111, so that in a 90-day period we can have
$10,000. Okay. All right.
That's our
so
goal. We want to end up having this. The site has to basically make 10 grand every 3 months. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so $3,000 a month. All right, I'm with you. So we're looking, in order to make $3,300 a month, we're looking at needing 2,200 people on our site per day, for 1% conversion. So I want to stick to Kraken for a minute, Matt, because these guys have all had their stuff drilled out in Kraken, and they're going to be looking at Kraken data rather than at TLKT data.
That's perfect, Sue.
Okay, so if we're looking at, you were going to run it through a much longer formula there, where we're taking the Google conversions, I would call it the Google click-through rate, times the on-page conversion. Let's just do that. Let's actually do that backwards. Let's take our 22,000 searches. It's not searches that we need, it's visitors that we need.
Yeah.
And if we've got a 0.25% click-through rate from Google, then how many searches are we actually looking at? So if we can take the 22,000 and multiply that, or divide it, or whatever. I haven't had coffee yet this morning, so bear with. All right, there we go, 8,800. All right, so we're looking at needing almost 9,000 searches a day in order to be able to meet that goal. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a 1 if that makes sense, how we got to 8,800. Okay, good. So now let's look at our keywords. Shall I steal the screen and show them what we got?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Because I've got these numbers now, so we got our goals.
Right. Let me just see which screen it's going to show. All right. So this is a set of drills that were done probably 4 or 5 months ago. So the data's not too old yet, and the original keyword was back pain. So when we drilled into back pain, interestingly enough, we got other related kinds of pain: hip pain, joint pain, shoulder pain. And this is interesting because, Matt, you were looking at what, some kind of a patch that goes on your back?
Yeah, I thought I was just thinking in my head, what can we sell? So I thought something like a heat mat or a heat wrap or a heat gel, something that will loosen up that back pain.
Right. So that kind of thing is probably going to work for hip pain and joint pain, any kind of pain for that matter, right? So we're basically in the pain management. I'm just looking at these top-level terms that it brought back and looking to see if I can actually expand beyond the back pain market into some of these other pains. And it seems like that's just something that I would start to think about, since it did bring me back a wide diversity of body pains. Is the product that I'm going to be attacking actually viable for these other types of pains? So that would be my first consideration when I look at these keywords. Roy's got a question. Do we want to take a look at that question right at this point, Matt?
All right. Roy, when we're on Google on the search results, when your website's ranked, right, when your position's 1, 2, or 3, the average click-through rate from Google to your website is typically between 17 to 25%, sometimes even lower than 17%, depending on how good your actual call to action is on that actual listing. That's what we're talking about over there.
And I'm familiar, Roy, with what you're talking about, 40% for the #1 position. And I would just say that that would depend on what market and what your, how convincing
The meta description.
the title and description are that get pulled back. As
And
to
the
what your
keyword,
click-through rates
like what keyword are you talking about? What is the, what is the reason for that person's keyword?
Yeah.
If it's a mismatch and you're ranked for it, it's very meaningless. If it's your top-level theme and it's not a money keyword, it's an educational keyword, you might be converting indirectly and not even know it. So then you got to go into your analytics and determine the flow of them through your funnel. And also look, go ahead, Sue.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just kind of started ranting. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you base your entire projection on a 40% click-through rate and you don't hit that, then you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So if you're more conservative on these percentages, then you're going to make money.
Yeah, Roy. Actually, everyone, lowball yourself and especially your clients and investors so that they're pleasantly surprised. In other words, if you're going, always go under so that you can definitely nail your results so that when you go over, it looks better. So there's a combination with clients and or investors. I know we've had students that have been invested in building something. When you go low, the psychological effect of that, even if you exceed expectations a 0.5%, it's huge. But when you go high and fail, you're done. So just go low with that in your projections.
Yeah, guys, you've got to be realistic, and the reason why we say, like the guys have said, is put your percentages low, is we're creating a baseline, a benchmark, because we need to have this benchmark when we run the campaign and we start hitting certain milestones throughout the project. We need to have sight of what that benchmark is all the way. And if you put your conversions really high, it might show huge numbers, but it's not realistic. So you must use your common sense when you're looking at this. Is this practical?
Yeah, and also that 17 to 25% Google conversion, I don't even remember where we got that number. I think, do you, Sue?
No.
Yeah, Matt, where did you get that number?
I've looked at for multiple sources online to sort of thrum it down, and it's in that range. Most people say when you're position #1.
Because I know that we did some,
17.
and it's okay, guys. If you question our data or something, that's okay. Like we're not unquestionable. Like sometimes we, let's find out where we got the data. Sometimes I forget where we got the data. That particular thing, I know that Sue and I had to do some calculations for Kraken early on to come up with the, what was that, Sue? We pulled it from a couple of sources. I think Jerry West gave us one source. This was in 2008. just trying to remember where we got that top level conversion percentage. But it's, it's an estimate, you guys, in either case. And that's not going to be the same for every keyword. It's not going to be the same for like a long tail as it would be for a, something else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the closer you get to the buying cycle, the end of the cycle, you probably find those percentages will increase up.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah,
How much
right.
the increase is it's a variable. It all depends.
Right.
But that's a good baseline to run by because the numbers sort of become realistic.
Yeah, exactly. And I just also wanted to say, you guys, we're giving you, like Matt's throwing out things that are like, it's kind of like a yard dart. You throw it up, it's in the general ballpark, and we cross-correlate that with other things online. If you want to sculpt your data differently and more conservatively, just change the number. Like if you're not comfortable with, and for example, you probably know your market better than we do in some cases. And like Roy was saying, like I know it's not 17%, it's like 8%. Okay, well if you're clear on that and you have that data from your webmaster tools, like this data that we're giving you does not trump your hands-on data, like your webmaster tools, like a year's worth of, right? Use that and then calculate on that.
Yeah. Okay, so the number we had was 8,800, right? Searches per day. So the interesting thing here, when you're looking at your Kraken data, is you've got the searches rolled up by theme over here. So when you're looking at back pain, so Kraken's going to give you the most important keywords in the market. When you drill into something like back pain, let's just look at that for a second.
Should we give a definition of what a theme is, Sue, just to be clear the guys?
A theme is a collection of related keywords, thematically related keywords. So when I'm looking at back pain comes in at $8 a click max, and it's got roughly 40,000 competing pages. And so when Kraken's looking at what it's going to constitute acceptance of a keyword into this theme, it's looking at like kind of keywords. So if you're like, you'll see most of these keywords here, they're in the neighborhood of $8. There's a few of them that are more expensive. The relief is always going to be more expensive. And then other kinds of pain, you can see back pain is one of the more expensive pains, shoulder pain, neck pain. So, but what Kraken's looking for are like keywords that are thematically related. So in other words, if I were in a $40 per click market, if that were my main keyword, then a lot of these keywords would not be considered salient because they're not expensive enough. So when you're in a market that's around $8, you're not going to get a lot of $2 a click or $1 a click keywords. It's going to be looking for keywords that are more expensive, that are more around the same kind of a concept. Does that make sense to everybody? So when you're looking at this number of searches, you're looking at a fairly small number of keywords. To get that, you're just looking at 19 keywords that it's thinking are actually constitute this theme: back support, back surgery, back problems. And that's just to kind of give you a thumbstuck, an estimate of what's going on in the market. Now, if you want more keywords that came back for this particular theme, you go into Show All Keywords, and it's going to bring you back things that are not as important. So they're either more tangent, or the cost per click's not all that, the TSMV, which is the cost per click times the traffic. Maybe the TSMV isn't all that, like back trouble, but they are still closely related. So you can look at all of that, and you can pull it out, throw it into DWS, and get a better idea of what the searches are going to be for some of the more, what would you say, more for some of the smaller keywords. But when I look at all of the themes across this way, I get a pretty good idea of the amount of traffic that's running through this market. So if I'm looking for 8,000 people, 9,000 people a day, 9,000 searches a day, and I'm looking at this back pain, I think to myself, wow, that means I got to rank for basically half of the keywords in that theme in order to generate that kind of traffic, right? Now let's say that I branch out into pain management. Not all of those. I think pain management, if we're talking some kind of a pad or a gel thing, pain management is probably a good set of keywords to go after. So
Yeah.
some of those keywords are going to be, some of these searches are going to be combined with some of these searches. Because some of the keywords are going to be duplicated between these two themes is what I'm trying to say. So if I want,
so could I just make a quick interjection here to what you're saying?
Sure.
Just a different variation. So guys, what she's basically doing here is she's looking at the word, she's looking at the meaning of the word, she's thinking about the product, and then she's looking at the search volume. Will I be able to get, how many keywords do I have to get ranked for to get my 8,800, and which of these themes, which have multiple keywords in them, is best matched? Does that sort of sum up what you're saying, Sue?
well, kind of. I'm actually looking to see if there's enough related traffic in this market
at that point
to make this product worthwhile.
Yeah, at this point she's just looking at the yeah, she's looking at the entire pile. This is what Kraken was originally developed. It's like if she can, all of you can do this actually, just at a glance, get a general consensus of like, sometimes I've looked at verticals, which is really what this is, and there's a disappointingly low amount of potential traffic connected to words that are probably buyer words for my product. And then you're just okay, well, there's going to have to be some other traffic sources, or I might need to rethink my online marketing strategy a little bit.
Right. So like the next thing that I'm going to be looking at, Mitch asked a great question. Are you thinking you might add more themes to achieve this? Absolutely, because when I look down this pile, I've got 20, 30, and you're going to have some dupes in there, and so I've probably got 7,000 searches. And when I think back to this website's making me $3,300 a month just to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
And that's a fair pile of probably what's going to turn out to be some pretty intense. Let me just come in here to back pane a second. So hang on, just one more second. Let me just look at one more thing. So like WebMD, Mayo Clinic, these people aren't my aren't actually my competitors. I got a DA. I got a domain authority of 87 here. I've got, let me come way down the page here a second, spinehealth.com. I got a domain authority of 69. These are not easy numbers to achieve.
No.
I mean,
definitely
so
not.
So I'm throwing a lot of money, I'm throwing a lot of money at this market to get this ranked.
I mean, Sue, give them a general idea, like if we were to get Jimmy and the rest of our team to do that, it would take like 5 or 6 months for us to rank for that.
Yeah, it's probably going to take, with Jimmy, it would take 6 months to get ranked into those domain authorities.
So that should give you guys an idea. It's like not like overnight stuff for you.
And I would just say, like, for a beginner, I would shy away from that market, at least from that keyword, right? So you're going to end up in more long tails, less competitive keywords, and so that means your search volume is going to go down. And so when I look at that and we're talking like $3,000 a month, I'm just like, wow, that's not enough meat on the stick. For me, personally, that doesn't cut it.
Do you guys sort of get the concept? So essentially what we're doing is we've set our baselines, we're looking at the market. This is the whole point of a market analysis. You want to understand what's the related products, what keywords surround those products, who you're competing with, how strong are they, and then how much time do you need to invest to actually go and compete in that market? Is this product actually going to make you the profit?
Yeah, and one of the things I would point out, based on what Matt just said, is we're talking about mostly MVPs here, or your minimum viable product, or like whatever product you're throwing in. And in certification, we do get into things like if you've already got a back-end product, or you've got something that's $5,000, or maybe you've got a core, you know what I mean? So there's other things where obviously less traffic makes you more money. And then, of course, there's a variable called demand. If you have a unique position and a unique pain that's being solved that everybody wants solving. But the general overview that we're going here now does give you an idea of what you can expect in your market, because your minimum viable products are what sustain you, right? They're the things that keep adding leads to your list. They keep inflating your overall business. So you got to have a general consensus in your MVP, your minimum viable product, and you have to have enough traffic to sustain that. But most companies don't build their back-end products or their $3,000 to $10,000 products, until they've got stuff really launching with their $20 and $30 products. Just a quick question for you guys on that note of what Sue's talking about. How many of you have your minimum, or at least your minimum viable product, or your primary product that you're using for your calculations is over $100? Can you give me a 1 if it's over $100 and a 2 if it's less than $100? Okay, so it's about half and half, more or less. Okay, well, actually, it's quite a bit. Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of ones.
Yeah, a lot of ones. Looks like everybody generally understands. And then let's do one more call to action here. If everything Sue has just run down here, because this is one of the most valuable things that early on when we started building Kraken that she was showing me, that really it's so great to be able to zoom back. Give me a 1 if you understand this zoom out process and why we called it theme zoom. And a 2 if you're still a little bit fuzzy on how to just have the vertical market at a glance. Wow, lots of people. Sue, you really cracked through on that one. Matt, you did as well.
Guys, another thing I wanted to point out to them, Sue, is the search is the sum of all the searches that are in that data set of that theme.
Right.
Is that correct, Sue?
Yeah. So
just so that they're clear what they're looking at here.
This is 16,000, almost 17,000 searches per day. And so if we need 8,000 searches per day and I was only going to go after these keywords, then I would need to basically rank for half of these keywords. So let's just come in here for a second. Now what you can do to get a more granular view on that, I usually click the show all keywords just so that I get the full complement of keywords in here. And then once I have them all, I hit the export button down here and I drop them into Domain Web Studio. And then Domain Web Studio is going to take a look at each one of these, or Network Empire Builder, it's going to take a look at each one of these keywords. It's going to take a look at how competitive it is based off the number of competing pages and what you put in for the page rank / domain authority. And then it's going to take a look at what the search volume is that it gets back off of that particular keyword. And it's going to say, hey, this keyword's a good keyword. It's going to meet your business rules, which means it's going to make you $3,000 a month. Or, you know what, this keyword, the competition is too high for the number of searches that you get off of it. This is a great example, right? Back problems. You only get 8 searches. Well, actually, you get 118. Let me sort by searches here for a second, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So what the
hang on a sec.
Sorry.
Let me finish this thought. So what we're looking at here, as you get down into these, you get like a half a click for 2 million.
Back pain occurs.
Bad back. You get a half a click, or you get 20 visitors. Like you get 20 queries, right? Which means by the time you get it through, the number of people actually on your site, it's going to be maybe a person per day. And you've got 2 million competing pages. So you've got an amount of money that you have to spend in order to get that one person to your site every day, versus I've got much less money that I'm going to have to spend in order to get half that amount of traffic, right? So this looks like it's going to be a much easier keyword to rank for. Your bang for your buck is going to be much higher.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This is what Domain Web Studio is so great about showing you. It takes all of those calculations away. You don't have to sit here and go, okay, this is going to be a good keyword, this is going to be a keyword that's going to cost me a lot of money. You just throw it in a Domain Web Studio, which we'll do here in a minute, and it brings back and says, these keywords meet your business rules, and the rest of them it doesn't even show you. You have to like flip the flag on to make them show you. So in that regard, then you can come in and define your blueprint. But what we're doing here is just a real high-level view to say, you know what, I'm not even going to go through that pain. It looks like there's not enough meat on the stick. I need to go find a product that's going to make me more than $5 a visitor to my site. That's the only way that you're going to get around this, right?
Yeah.
If I'm looking at this and I'm saying there's not enough searches in the market, it's too competitive for the number of searches as a whole, then I need a better product.
So essentially what you said there is, if it's too competitive and you still want to go for the markets, you have to increase the margins on your profit.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, you've got to think smart at this stage, because what you're trying to identify is you're trying to identify what traffic streams can create conversions to meet your financial goals. and you'll quickly assess whether your product can actually achieve it or not. So when you increase the margins, then everything else becomes much easier as well. So this is why we look at the keywords from its top levels, because we understand, okay, what is the market that's profitable, number one. Number two, what is the language people use? How do they describe what they're looking for when they're looking for these solutions? So do you guys have any questions at this stage before we hop into okay, so I'll let you lead this part.
Okay, I've also got one more question to ask, and then I'll come back and get your question, Brian. How many folks here have actually got their own product that they want to sell? Give me a 1, and give me a 2 if you're an affiliate marketer.
Great question, Sue.
All right, so most of the guys, I would say 2/3 so far have got. Mitch, is it your own service, or is it, are you marketing somebody else's service? So we got 4 people. Okay, 4 people who are doing lead gen, and so we're about half and half. Okay, so 2 affiliate marketers, 2 lead gen, and the rest of the folks have their own products. So if you have your own product, and you're looking at something like this, and it looks dismal, we just need to get creative about how to do your marketing. In other words, this is kind of a head-on, let's take the top-level term, which is back pain, throw it into Kraken and see what happens. And if, for example, I don't think we have him on this call, but I know one of the guys that's been in Tech Foundation is a chiropractor, and so if he's looking at back pain and those kinds of things because that is his profession, then interestingly enough, what you're going to do, I mean, obviously he's going to make more than $5 off of a client visit,
Yeah.
but then also what you're going to want to do is like look at it more creatively. So a chiropractor is going to have more of a local business, so you're going to go into local search there. You've got the potential for, that changes everything. Like that's just a total game changer. And then you want to get creative about how you want to attack the pain in the market. Like that's the other thing. If you actually have a product, I mean, you're going to want to do that anyway. But if you're looking at numbers like this, and if you're looking at like hitting the market head-on as being just really overwhelmingly, like it's going to take me 6 months to rank, so how the heck do I make money for the next 6 months? Then we're going to want to get creative about how you can either get your rankings in there through alternative methods like social media and video, or how to get creative about tangent concepts and a lot of the stuff that Russ has already talked to you about. When you're looking at your ISDNA and you're looking at the pain behind the pain, you're looking at those frequently asked questions, like how can you take that and look at those keywords and come up with different concepts that you want to drill into? And so then, like, this is just your initial drill set, what we do for you here, but you can most certainly drill for, you've got the better part of a week where you can drill into additional concepts and figure out other ways to attack your market, and that's what we're here for too, is to help you with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Sue, there was a good question there from Brian. He said, could I manipulate the numbers in Kraken TLKT to focus on local markets, like only people searching for keywords for business in a particular state, not nationally?
Yeah, Kraken does a terrible job at that. TLKT does a much better job, because what I would do is, yeah, I would definitely use TLKT for that. I'd go ahead and do the drill in TLKT. It's going to bring you back a whole lot more keywords, a whole lot more long tails. And then I would bring it into Excel. I have a couple of videos that show you how to do that and do a prepend and a postpend with the locale, and then throw it back into TLKT. And then you can do a filter on that locale and just grab those keywords. That's the short version of that. If you guys want access to TLKT rather than Kraken, if you're doing a local market, let us know. We can do that. We can arrange that for you.
Okay.
All right.
Another great thing about Kraken, guys, when you're using this tool is if you
I lost Matt. Can you guys hear him?
No, it looks like Matt's down.
Okay.
Black Hawk down. All right, so you guys, looks like we lost Matt. I don't even see him on the campaign. I mean on the...
No, he's still on the Webby.
Okay.
And then Kraken's got the white paper analysis as well.
Okay, so
Can you hear me?
exactly, Matt. Okay.
No, we lost you. Can you repeat everything you said?
Yeah.
At what part?
Matt, you were down for about a minute.
When you started talking, you said the other thing
no.
about Kraken, and then we lost you.
Yeah, so do the whole sales pitch again.
No, what I was telling you guys was, if you've got an existing website, okay, you can take your domain and you can actually put it into Kraken. You can actually add it. And it'll look through the whole theme and it'll actually show you your missed opportunities. So you can actually see maybe you're on page 1, 2, 3. You're not far from the finish line. You can just do a bit of optimization and get those keywords ranked, which will also then boost your profit margins to achieve your goals. And then Kraken gives you the white paper, which has the top competitors information. So it's who the guys ranked in number 1, 2, 3 up to 10, gives you the domain age, gives you the exact URL. You see a lot of classic information under the competitive analysis for Backpain. So when we do the market analysis, we get to see the entire data set from multiple perspectives. And it gives us a lot of valuable information to make better decisions. So for example, we've got a page rank 6. This isn't got the DA, it's the old draw, Sue.
Yeah, this is clearly a little bit older than I thought. It must be at least 6 months old. We don't have the domain authority for either the domain or the page authority for the page.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Guys, what will happen is when I do the drill out for you in Kraken, you'll see domain authority and page authority on the row as well. So it gives you, you can sort of gauge how strong this market is, and you can get a feel, okay, like Sue says, how much of the fight do you really want to have? How much money do you want to take out your pocket to get ranked for that specific keyword? Okay.
So this has generated a lot of questions on local. Let me ask one more question. How many of you guys are doing local, either have a local business or you're doing local lead gen? Give me a 1 and give me a 2 if you're doing national. Oh, interesting. All right, so we've only got 2 people who are doing national. Everybody else is doing local. Okay.
Wow.
All right. That changes the rest of the webinar. Great.
Yes.
This is good.
It does.
All right. So
Holy smokes, that's a lot of
for a minute.
local
And
stuff.
we have some people like Brett who are doing multiple locales. Yeah. Multiple states even. All right. Yeah, guys, give me a 1 if you're doing multiple locales and a 2 if you're just doing one locale, one city with verbs. All right, so most people are doing multiple locales as well. We got 2 people who are doing one central area. 1 person who's doing one central area. All right. Fascinating. Okay, so let's talk about local search.
Yeah, forget it. Forget everything we just said. Just kidding.
Okay, does someone press record?
Exactly.
Start again.
No, actually, everything.
All right.
You guys, just so you know that what we just covered is like big guns. So now you're prepared for like international and big swallowing your market whole at the top level. And you do need to know the vertical stuff because a lot of the times the vertical stuff, as you'll see in some of Sue's videos, the vertical you can just add, you know, more or less. I mean, we'll change a little bit, but you can pretty much long tail those into local, more or less. I mean, there's quite a bit of variance in there, but anyway, I'll let you talk now. I'll shut up now.
Okay. The good news is that local is still pretty easy. The game doesn't change too much. the numbers tend to be smaller, and you want to think creatively about your locales. So for the folks who have multiple locales, you're probably going to want to do either a different silo or a different subdomain per locale. Particularly if you're doing multiple states, I would definitely do a state per subdomain. And the most difficult thing that you're going to come across is trying to get quasi-unique content for each of your locales. So, with that said, you know, we've got my head's gone in about 3 different directions all at the same time. I'm thinking about what Kevin Polly's talked about in the semantic course about local markup, and I can certainly see where semantics is given, the semantic markup has given locale entrepreneurs bigger bang for their buck recently, and that's just going to get very much moreish. And I'm thinking about how, so like if you've got multiple offices, it's where you've got multiple addresses, like verified, bona fide addresses, then that makes your life a little bit easier. And where you service multiple areas, like I sit here in Mesa, and there's a lot of folks in the valley that they service 3 or 4 different cities within, or 3 or 4, you might call them burbs, but they're actually cities within the metropolitan area, right? But they've only got one office. That gets to be a little bit more difficult. So we can get into some of that as we start to talk more about rankings. There are ways that you can attack that, and like the cool thing, the fun thing is when you get your site built out and you get all of your WR1 stuff, your WRS1, your third-party platforms, so like your citation platforms, particularly about your business, completed, then you're going to want to pick up some of what Jimmy's doing, and he can show you how to rank for local pretty easily so that you can dominate that. So we can get into all of that a little bit later on in the course. So back to keywords for a nanosecond. And somebody asked a really great question about, do you have to drill into everything for each city? So what I've found is it depends on the market. So like let's say I was doing some market analysis for Ford back a few years ago. And as I did drills in various cities, I found out that the more affluent cities, surprise, surprise, bought the more expensive cars, and the less affluent areas, or more, you know, in the boonies and in the sticks, they tended toward trucks. And then the less affluent areas, they tended toward the more conservative cars. So you could watch those numbers actually change quite radically. And so if I were looking at the Phoenix metropolitan area and I'm targeting the different cities within that metropolitan area, I would actually put more emphasis on different cars depending on the city that I'm marketing. So sometimes in those cases you end up with something that's different. If you're talking about AC service repair, which is another thing that's really popular, we've done some research for here in the Valley, it's pretty much the same keywords all the way across. You know, my air conditioner is broken and I need it fixed like right now because it's 120 degrees outside. So all of those keywords tend to be the same.
Damn it.
Right? I'm just looking at, need to use long tails and 428. All right. So, wow, Roy, that's a lot of locations. Wow.
Sure.
All right. So let's just talk keywords for a moment. Like what I tend to do is I'll do research on the national level because the national level gives me, because the numbers are large larger, Google's going to give me more values per keyword. If, let's say that I'm looking for air conditioner repair. If I look air conditioner repair, if I drill into air conditioner repair in Kraken or in TLKT, I'll get a full list of keywords, and there'll be a whole stack of keywords that are relevant that are going to have cost and traffic. And as soon as I stick Phoenix on those keywords and drill into them again, even in TLKT where it's broad match, it's going to come back and show me much fewer keywords that actually have cost and traffic. And that's just because when Google stores data, it costs them money. And so there's got to be enough data to make it important enough for them to actually store the data. So when you're talking about searches that are ones and twosies per day, or less than ones and twosies per day, they really don't care. It's not salient enough for them to keep the data in the database. So you're going to come back and it's going to look like there's no searches on all these keywords, and yet when you look at the national values, it's a worthwhile keyword. So go with the national value. Like, here's what I do. I look at these keywords that are on a local level. If they've got cost and traffic on the local level, then I know that that keyword's valuable at the local level. And I'll create a blueprint based around the local version of those keywords. But then, generally speaking, that's only going to give me like a dozen keywords, and it's not nearly enough to actually flesh out my site. So I'll go back and I'll take the cream of the crop. In other words, the keywords with the highest TSMV, which is, let me just return to my theme here for a second to show you what TSMV is. TSMV is a function of the cost per click and the natural searches per day. So we take the natural searches per day. This is a Google-only value, and we say, okay, we're going to inflate that because obviously you've got searches on Bing and Yahoo and all of that kind of good stuff. So we inflate that number, we multiply it by the cost per click, we multiply it by year so that there's a bigger difference between back pane and back dash pane. You can actually see which keyword's more valuable easier, and that's what TSMV is. So you're looking for keywords on a national level that have got a decent TSMV, because you know that there's going to be some searches on a local level too. Like when you take that, you take a much smaller segment of the population, you know that there's still going to be some people out there that are searching for that keyword. Maybe it's every couple of days, but there are going to be some searches. So does that make sense? I focus on the ones that Google tells me are good keywords, and then I flesh it out with the keywords that are most likely to be good keywords because that's what I see on a national level. Okay, give me a 1 if that makes sense and a 2 if that's fuzzy.
Okay, guys. So you follow the money and you follow the traffic.
Exactly. Following the traffic is following the money. All right. National values relate to the total sum of traffic through and not so much the actual locals. Right. So national values like these are going to be, they don't have a locale associated with the keyword. So that's what I call a national value, national value. If this were pain management Phoenix, then that would be a local value. All right. Good. So, so we're going to want to make sure we get those guys pointed to those videos on how to do local search with TLKT.
We've got that in this week. It's I think it's the third link.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let me double check here.
Yeah. And I show you how to bring it into a spreadsheet and create the local keywords and push that back into TLKT. So you guys will be able to do, you're going to have to do more work because you're going to have to drill out all that stuff, but it'll be good. All right, so then the next question that I can see, so here's what I think we should do for this course. You can see that my wheels are kind of turning on the fly here. Normally for Tech Foundation, we tell you guys you got to get one silo up at the very least, right, from front to back. And in a perfect world, you'd get 3 silos up. So what I'd like for you to focus on as you're looking at locales, some locales are always more money than other locales. follow the money again, right? Go for the places that if you only have one physical office, go for the township or city where your one physical office is, because that's going to be the thing that's the easiest to rank. If so let's say that I'm sitting here in Mesa. Mesa's not the most affluent thing around me. I've got Chandler to the south, I've got Scottsdale to the north, but I have a Mesa physical address, so I would go with Mesa numbers. And with Mesa keywords, sorry. And then within the Mesa area, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 concepts. And let's take Mesa, let's call it Mesa a silo, and 2 or 3 concepts would be your categories underneath that silo. And if you're just covering basically one locale, for those guys that are covering one locale, then you don't really need to have Mesa as a silo. You can just pick your 2 or 3 concepts for silos, and then pick one of those concepts, and we'll focus on getting that. We'll focus on getting that fleshed out. Now, I wouldn't, even so you're going to go back and you're going to do keyword research with like air conditioning Mesa. When it comes to actually importing stuff into DWS and building out the site, don't use the Mesa keyword, use the national keyword, because we're going to come back and show you how to rank on a local level, but you don't actually need Mesa, or whatever your township is, as part of the keyword in order to rank. So if you put that in as the keyword, then when you create your blog, everything comes out Mesa, 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 and it's not pretty. So
Yeah.
So you're going to pull it into DWS, you're going to take a look at those values, you're going to decide which keywords you want to build, and then you're going to build it out with the national keywords. That's an extra step, and I haven't taught it like that before because we've been doing more experimentation and more testing, and this is the way that I would teach it now. So, questions on all of that?
Hot off the press, how's that? You guys are lucky, eh?
With local modifiers being more important than... So, you're going to put the local modifier on it, so I'd put Mesa on it just so that I can see how valuable the keyword I can... Now, again, the local keyword information that you're going to get back out of Google is still very conservative. You will get more searches on those keywords than what Google's going to tell you you're going to get. So don't be dismayed when those numbers come out really small. But I want you to see them inside of DWS so that you can get an idea of what you're looking at for cost to
develop.
Yeah, cost to ROI, and I'm trying to think of how much that's going to lower your cost if you're going local.
It'll be minimal. They'll have minimal. There's minimal build because the competing pages will be so low.
Yeah.
Supporting articles. There's a whole bunch of less stuff that.
Yeah, you don't need nearly as much domain authority. So what you're going to want to do is when you're looking at what your competitive page rank and domain authority is that you throw into Network Empire Builder and Domain Web Studio, make sure you're doing your queries, your Google queries with let's just do this, conditioner repair. So if I look at air conditioner repair, it's probably not even going to give me anything other than a local. Yeah, it automatically brings up, okay, so Home Depot. I've got one national result here. And if I look at that, that's a domain authority of 88, but that's not actually my competition. My actual competition are these guys right here, which you can see I've got a domain authority of 17. So you can see how that shifts the market, right? So So your page rank is a 2 and your domain authority is 17. So those are the numbers you're going to want to throw into Network Empire Builder and DWS. When Matt's spreadsheet changed for local lead gen 2? Great question.
Yeah. Well,
Not
your
really.
conversions will probably be higher. That's the only thing that will change. If you think about it, your on-page conversion
Yeah.
will probably be higher, slightly.
So here's the trick to...
You'll need less sales.
Yeah, here's the trick to higher conversions is the whole rating thing. Like, this is becoming the thing that local guys live and die by. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got some reviews going on. And if you've got good reviews, then you'll be higher. If you don't have good reviews, you need to get some. But all of that we can talk about toward the end of this course and into Tech Foundation 2. All right, so how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like you've got enough information to go forth and find your keywords and start building out your first silo?
Mostly. Yep.
1 if you do, and a 2 if you're like floundering and don't know. And all right. Yeah, I would say as you guys get into and you start doing some TLKT, Matt, let's just give everybody a week's worth of TLKT.
Okay, sure. I'll rent it to Kevin tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect. So as we get in and we start doing your drills in TLKT, then we can have some chat conversations going on in the Skype group, and when you actually start doing it, it'll come clearer. So the blueprint you're going to end up making is actually going to be with keywords on a national level. But as if you have local keywords, like there might be some things that'll come up when you do, like for example, if I had a pest removal company, the keywords that I'm going to get when I do drills in Arizona are going to be different from when I'm doing in New York, right? Because we've got different pests. We've got scorpions down here, and you don't have so many of those up in New York. So there would be some...
Are you sure about that?
No. There are going to be some differences like that. It is worth doing the drills and taking a look at what's going on. And just like, you've got your own locale in your head. Well, maybe not for the folks who are doing a huge number of locales, but for those guys that are focused in one area. Yeah, snakes in DC, exactly. Yeah, Brett, you're the one who I'm thinking of. 25 cities in one niche. The best way to combat dupe content. Okay, so in cases like that, I did a similar kind of a site. Actually, Brett, maybe we should just hook up for a few minutes and I'll chat to you about the dumpster site I did. But in brief, what we did was we wrote a very carefully constructed, absolutely huge syntax document where we spun in paragraphs and multiple sentences, and I mean it was huge. It
Massive.
was probably 2,000 to 3,000 words, and so there were the options where entire paragraphs would be included or left out, and then after that we had to read each one of those pages to make sure that our syntax had actually worked properly, and sometimes we further rearranged the paragraphs. So we ended up with similar-ish content for all the different locales, but Google liked it. It was okay.
Okay.
All
So I
right.
think, guys, so are you guys sort of clear how we sort of look at a product, go to Kraken, get our numbers, get our head around what we're doing, deciding is this good or not. If you're still not sure, we throw it into DWS, look at the numbers a bit more closely, and then make a decision before we actually spend money buying domains and all the other rest. We're actually very clear on what it is that we want to build before we start. And we check all the numbers, make sure is this actually sound, and if it is, then we can actually proceed, and we've got a very clear idea of which way we're going. What this does is it actually means your technical build becomes a lot less intensive because you're more focused and you're clear on what it is that you have to build. Okay, so I think this is about it for tonight. See, what do you think?
Yeah, there's just one more thing that I want to say about domains, domain names,
Okay.
because guys tend to like get excited and go out and buy those at this point. And I would not get a domain that's got your primary keyword in it. I would lean more toward a domain that's got your business name in it. And if you can't, like it's not the kind of thing where you can put your business name in the domain, then I would get a non-money kind of keyword, like more of a
Heat wave saviors for air conditioning.
yeah, maybe probably something like that, right? So it's
Yeah.
tangentially related, but not the money keyword. Otherwise, Google's like doing a lot of stuff at the moment with over-optimization. They're getting very touchy on that subject, and so I would steer clear of keywords in your domain name for that reason.
And on that thought though, with the URL, how does that impact the URL, Sue? When
What do you mean?
when they're actually building the silo structure, their URL
Well,
string.
yeah, so then that way you can actually use the keyword in your URL string, right? So let's say one of your silos is air conditioner repair. If I've got mesaheatwave.com/air conditioner repair, then I've got, or even just heatwave.com, it doesn't have to have Mesa in it. You can always, if you're doing multiple locales, then I would probably do mesa.heatwave.com/air conditioner repair. See, so then you've got your keyword in there once, but it's not going to get hit with an exact match domain penalty. And if under air conditioner repair you have another keyword that has also got something air conditioner like in it, because you get some of these markets, particularly with local, where there's not a lot of different ways to say air conditioner, right? So so you don't want the keyword in your URL string more than twice. Like that's an absolute no-no. So so that's why the other reason why I shy away from it in the domain name, because then you really have to be creative about your supporting article names. So, all right. Brett, sure, you can get an expired domain with generic backlink profile and higher DA, and you can use that for your money site. Just like you got to make sure that there's not some kind of a penalty on it. If there was like a manual penalty or a penguin penalty because of the backlinks on it, you might not see that in your webmaster tools immediately upon purchase. And I definitely wouldn't spend a lot of money on it, because it's just tricky to kind of be able to see whether or not there's a penalty. Personally, I would start with a new domain. Like that's just my thing. It's easy enough to build domain authority, and when I'm talking about a money site, I'd rather not buy somebody else's problems. It's kind of like buying a used car.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. Start rattling after.
Exactly.
What? Clunk. Oh, these are all fake inbound links?
Yeah.
That was fake PageRank.
All right.
We don't penalize the grey board. Excellent, guys. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's session. We just wanted to talk the whole process through sort of in real time with you, so you can sort of see how we think about looking at a keyword at this point in time. As per usual, if you've got any questions, hit me up on Skype. every 2 weeks the slots open up for the consultations. So I'll go check if the slots are open and we can get some more done. And if you've got any marketing questions, just hit the chat room, the Tech Foundation chat group, and I'm sure Russell will pick it up and coordinate with you if it needs to be spoken about any further, if it can't be dealt with over there.
Absolutely. We have that room so that we can all coordinate, and we're not there 24 hours a day. We're there. I know we're all in different time zones, so we try to take care of that, but we have office hours, but we try to follow up as quickly as possible.
Okay, I think that's it for today, Russ.
All right.
Wrap this one up.
All right, so folks, I want to let you know a little bit about the process of recording, of getting this information to you. These are monster files I've discovered in the last few days as the webinars have gotten a little bit longer. So this is going to take me until probably tomorrow morning to get uploaded. Some of you like to review. More and more people are liking to review these webinars. It's a lot of information covered. So you can expect this the following day, and you can expect the webinars to be uploaded to the location called Webinar Archives. Who's got the screen right now? Maybe we could show them where they're...
Sue's got it.
Okay, so where they're located is in the Tech Foundation members area. That's okay, you don't have to do that, Sue. But in the Tech Foundation members area, there's a location called Webinar Archives that Matt has created, and they're organized by week. So all you have to do is the most recent webinar is located at the top of that page. And as we get, because this is an ongoing rolling mastermind group that is enhanced and grows with each function, what I'm going to try to do is give you a little bit of a summary of the unique distinction of what's covered. But generally speaking, they will always cover they will be highly salient and relevant to the week that we are covering. And it just helps you understand what date you're dealing with. A lot of the older webinars that you actually have access to have great stuff in them as well. And some people actually like to just listen to the MP3 files. Some people like to speed through them. There is a software I hope that you're aware of called eNounce and other software that allow you to play things on fast forward at higher speed. I know that's kind of annoying, but if you do want to accelerate through the webinars, see if there's anything on there that you need. So this is part of the value that you get, is some pretty amazing conversations that are unique to each boot camp because we have unique students with unique products and solutions. And so that's really what I wanted to make sure that you know. So we'll, the webinar archive, is that the webinar archive, Sue?
Yeah, this is week 3. Webinar
yeah, so this is going to be at the top of week 3. You can see that March 2014, that will be replaced at the top by June. I'm sorry, what month is this?
Yeah, this is June.
Okay, thank you. Please say it's not, just say it's not October, please.
Right.
June, okay, so the June webinar will be uploaded there as soon as I convert it, okay? I have to go through a conversion process, and it's stored on a special archive in Amazon, a locked Amazon file. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next webinar will be next Thursday, and we'll go ahead and give you a heads up on what's going to be covered there. And it's a pleasure working with all of you, and we look forward to seeing you in the Skype chat room. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.